And now the question to you is, you as prime minister or maybe president of this country, would you go to, I don't know, Mitrovica or meet whoever is prime minister or president in Belgrade and say, let's do it? I think of another example, Sadat, Egyptian President Sadat, going to Israel.
Yeah, it did not end well for Sadat.
It did not end well, I know.
No, but I know where you're heading.
Also for Djindjic, it didn't end well. You know, so it's...
No, I think there needs to be a brave step. I think what is also needed to see is reality. And the reality is that the Franco-German reconciliation came because France and Germany acknowledged that the wars have ended. And so mentally, what needs to be happening in Kosovo, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina is to acknowledge that the wars have ended and that peace is not continuation of war with other means. We have to live in a peace which is trying to establish mutual relations, which war is not repeated. And so what leadership needs to show, and I think some things will have to develop in the next 5 years, is a joint acknowledgement that the wars have ended, that there's no way that they can return, that the aims of the wars and the driving forces of these wars, which was basically dehumanizing the other, basically showing that I have a superior right, my ethnicity has a superior right over the other. These driving forces, although they have been adopted now, unfortunately, in other parts of the world, are not going to solve our problem. Maybe we are far ahead because we have suffered more.
When I think of Franco-German reconciliation, there was one factor which was very important at a time, and this was, of course, the Washington's tutelage. Yeah. The Americans at a time, this kind of well-meaning hegemon, basically said, okay, now shake hands.
Yes.
Yeah. So who would this be in the situation now here in the Western Balkans?
Unfortunately,
the Americans are gone.
Yeah.
Maybe they come back. You never know.
Yeah.
Unpredictability is really what drives Trump. So it could also go in the opposite direction. Europeans are here, of course, but they are too weak. I should tell you, actually, I thought if you do not appoint a political heavyweight to deal with Ukraine, for example, it will not work.
Yeah.
In a way, this also applies to the region here. You need an Ahtisaari or someone like this to handle the situation. I really appreciate it. I like Mr. Sorensen, but the political gravitas is missing.
Yeah.
And I think this would be important now. That could be done, and this would be a political signal also that the European Union is acting geopolitically, but it is acting also politically. Yeah? That's missing. But who would that be?
I don't know. I would like to think in another form, in another metaphor. You use the metaphor of the benevolent hegemon, the United States. I am thinking about kids' bicycles with the side wheels. And I think what is happening both for Europe as a whole and for the Western Balkans and for Kosovo and Serbia is that the side wheels have been taken off. And now we are on two wheels only. And we have to learn to cycle. And we will see how this happens.
Well, in a way, this also applies to Europe. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the American side wheel is taken away.
Yeah.
The Russians have eliminated the other side
with a grenade.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, there are parallels between the situation that Kosovo is in and that the European Union is in. Both are unfinished business in a way, unfinished whatever, states or whatever. And I think that's something where I would really hope that countries, smaller countries like Kosovo, of course also Serbia, I mean, Serbia matters.
Yeah.
Serbia is still the largest country in the region, yeah. But I don't see there this kind of responsibility for the whole region, you know, other than suppressing or criticizing. This kind of positive mode that is missing and there I believe to reach out, you know, and to see, okay, let's do something very different, at least. And I hope that maybe sometime we will have an opportunity to see you as the prime minister. And I'm not criticizing the current prime minister, but in general, you know, this kind of resolve and also this kind of self-assurance that I'm not always only the victim. Yes, I have been the victim, but now I want to reach out. This kind of this German-French idea, I think something of this would do a lot also for Europe, you know, also for Europe, which now is really in a situation which is absolutely novel. There is today, actually, in these days, you see the end of the post-war period, the end of American dominance in Europe, and in a way, clearly, there are lots of anti-American sentiments out there, have always been, you know. Well, now here we are.
Thank you very much, Wolfgang. It's been a pleasure meeting and discussing, and I hope we will have the opportunity to chat very soon again. Let me assure you that I'm not running for Prime Minister's job, and when you come here in fall, we will continue this conversation, I hope with better sentiments and details. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
I thank you, Veton.